Hi, it's Paris from Epic Review Guys, and I received a very nice surprise in an email yesterday. It turns out my favorite band from the 1980s, a group called Uncle Bonsai that you've probably never heard of, is going to be doing a live streaming concert Friday, tomorrow, and it's on a website that lets you pay whatever you want to watch the concert. Now, if you know of Uncle Bonsai, you're probably very excited to hear this. If you didn't know about the concert, I'll tell you about that. If you've never heard of them, but you like clever, quirky, funny folk songs, let me tell you why you might want to give them a listen.
Epic Review Guys.
So for how many of you is the 1980s a chapter in your school history textbook? If you're younger than 40, we may have different musical tastes, but I think you'll still like Uncle Bonsai if you like clever, funny music. But to give you some idea of what I grew up with, I started out when I reached my teenage angst music years with The Who. Then there was Rod Stewart, there's The Cars, Men at Work. These are all records. And finally, Uncle Bonsai when I got a little older. When I got to college, I worked part-time in a convenience store, working Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights, 6 p.m. to closing at midnight. It was also known as the armed robbery shift, but that's another story. And the DJ who came on the radio station around 10 or 11 o'clock at night must have been an Uncle Bonsai fan, because that's where I started hearing their songs. I became a fan. I went to their concerts at the Backstage in Ballard, and they actually, I don't know if it was a radio station promotion, they had a rafting with Uncle Bonsai deal that I went on. My girlfriend, who knew how much I liked the band, got us tickets to spend the day rafting the Wenatchee River with Uncle Bonsai, and at the end of that, they did a concert in the woods for us. I even have their album, A Lonely Grain of Corn, autographed by Ashley and Arnie. Now, if you're not familiar with Uncle Bonsai, let me tell you a little bit about them and some of my favorite songs that they did. This being YouTube, I can't play anything in this video, but I will direct you to where you can hear snippets of their songs. Also, if you have an account with Spotify, as I do, they have just about all of their music there. So if you type in the name Uncle Bonsai, if you type in the name of the song, you can listen to their music. Uncle Bonsai is a folk trio, 2 women and a man who has a very high voice, and he also plays the guitar for the group. I think they were probably most famous in Seattle, though they're known now in other places. They were together for about 8 years during the 80s. I left for Japan in 87, so after that they broke up and I sort of lost track of them until I came back and discovered the internet and said, I wonder what's going on with them, and it turned out they had gone their different ways, solo careers and doing different things. The guitarist of the group, Andrew, went on to form Electric Bonsai Band and released an album, and there's one song in that I particularly like called I Am My Dad. I think he wrote that when he was about 40 and realized he had become his father. One of the lines in the song is about the shirts get brighter, the pants get white. I know exactly what he's talking about. Again, that song is called I Am My Dad. I have a link down below to a sampling of it if you'd like to hear what it sounds like. And if you're a man who's turned 40, you'll know exactly what he's talking about. Now, some of the songs that the trio Uncle Bonsai did were very topical, and if you lived through that, you'll find them especially funny. One is Isaac's Lament. If you saw the show The Love Boat, if you watched it weekly like I did back in the 80s, Isaac is one of the characters on the show, and the whole song is about what happened when they announced that the show was ending and how one person didn't take it too well. If you're very familiar with the show The Love Boat, the references in the song just make it absolutely hilarious. I have a link to that one down below. It's called Isaac's Lament. A song that talks about a more timeless topic is Lois Lane, so it's pulled from pop culture, but it has meaning to you whenever you listen to it. In this song, they look at Lois Lane never being satisfied with mild-mannered Clark Kent, but never being brave enough to tell Superman how she really feels, and so it ends up being a sad story because they don't get together. One of the lines from the song is about he always knew what she was thinking when she was looking at the sky. That song's called Lois Lane. Again, there's a link down below to that. Now, not all of their music is funny. They have some heartfelt and poignant songs as well. One is based on the experience of one of the band members getting that call when they were away at college that their father died, and then going back home and going to the house when that person's not in it. So that song is called Silent Night. Only listen to that one if you're in the mood for some crying. There's a link to that one down below. Another song that is more serious is called In It for the Children, and it's about a couple staying in the marriage for the children. So another social issue type song, but a social issue song that's serious and I think a lot of people can relate to. And the last Uncle Bonsai song I'll mention is a song that's silly and funny, but it also makes the most biting social commentary, and it's very timely now with all the discussion about women not making as much as men, not being treated equally in the workplace. The name of the song is Penis Envy, and it's sung by the two women in the band, and they basically discuss what it would be like to have a penis in a very funny way, but the very end of the song is where it really makes the strongest point. If I had a penis, I'd still be a girl, but I'd make much more money and conquer the world. If you're going to listen to one song to try to figure out the essence of Uncle Bonsai, I think Penis Envy is a good one, and again, there's a link to that right down below. After a couple of reunion concerts and releasing a couple newer CDs that I'm not that familiar with, it seems like Uncle Bonsai is back to performing somewhat regularly now. Anyway, about this live internet concert, if you'd like to, for as little as a couple bucks, see them perform live. This live performance is through a website called Concert Window, which I had not heard of before, but it's interesting. It looks like a way for bands to perform for an audience without having to actually rent a space and do all the logistics of setting that up. They basically do their performance and stream it out, and people who have paid can then log in and watch the performance. I think they can set varying amounts you have to pay, but Uncle Bonsai for this has decided to make it pay what you want. So for $1, $10, $20, whatever you'd like to pay. This show will be Friday, tomorrow, April 18th, at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 8 o'clock here Central, and that would be 6 o'clock on the West Coast. So long as you've logged in, set up your account before that, and purchased your tickets for as much as you'd like to pay, you'll be able to watch them perform. I've put a link down below this video also to the Uncle Bonsai Concert Window show if you'd like to see more about that. So maybe I wasn't able to turn you into an eclectic 80s folk music fan, but I have found that I can only really communicate musically with people about 5 years younger than me to 5 years older than me. It's a pretty narrow range, and it's very specific, the music you grow up listening to. I would say from junior high school, college, right in there, that's you. That determines who you are for the rest of your life, and you will always like that music, even when it gets to be called oldies. Now, my kids, of course, listen to the stuff that's contemporary right now, but I try to sneak in some of the music I like when we're out in the car and around the house, so that at least some of their musical tastes will still be stuck in the 80s, like their dad. And I shouldn't be telling you this, but I still like disco too.
Shopping is easy when you know what to buy. At EpicReviewGuys, we give it a try. What does the fox buy? Nobody knows, but before he goes shopping, he watches our